Hello, everyone, and welcome to Elian's Joy. Namaste. I'm so glad you're joining us today. I have another amazing guest on my show, Elian's Joy, and we're going to have a joyful conversation. Glad you are joining us. If you're coming in here in a little bit, and you can ask, of course, afterwards. After we are recording, you can join us in a live Q&A. And this will also be on the replay on the winwinwomen.tv channel, as well as we are now live recording on Amazon and Apple and Roku. So maybe you're watching the show from there. Always reach out with questions and comments, even afterwards. And this will be available in our replay on YouTube as well. So welcome to Win Win Women TV. We are a great platform with women for women, providing a lot of information. And today I am going to talk with the amazing Kathy Baldwin. She's my guest today. Kathy is a pillar of empowerment and alignment. We could feel that energy right away when I met her, and an authenticity in a world overwhelmed by stress and burnout. And how many times do I talk about that? Kathy's heartfelt mission is to guide individuals back to their true selves. And she has a profound understanding of the universal laws and energy healing. And that's what I love so much about Kathy as well. We are both into energy healing. I love that. We're going to unlock the inner wisdom and the potential within each of us. And there's so much. Kathy's journey was hitting rock bottom. It's from hitting rock bottom to become a thriving author, an amazing book that Kathy released last year. She's also a transformational coach, like I said, and a founder of RiseUP Coaching for healing and for self-care. So Kathy's approach is not just about coping strategies, it's about diving deep into the roots of stress and burnout to emerge more empowered, aligned, and more authentically, did I say that right? Authentically into your own self-being. Welcome, Kathy. I'm so glad you're here. And I hope we're going to have a great conversation. I know we're going to have a great conversation today. So what is behind you? Think different, create every day, laugh often, seize the moment, find your own way, and believe you can. Yes. Welcome to the show.
Make it happen is in gold.
Those are the what?
It says make it happen on the bottom in gold.
Oh, make it happen. Absolutely. I always say make it an amazing day instead of have an amazing day, because it's up to us, right? Welcome to the show, honey. I'm so glad you're here today. Tell me a little bit about who is Kathy.
Well, thank you so much for having me here. I have been looking forward to this conversation since we met. Who am I? I am just a normal, everyday woman next door. I am a mother, a grandmother. I have two beautiful, amazing grandsons that are amazing, and just we hear them laugh and it just changes your whole day. I'm a writer. I'm a coach. I love travel. I'm a foodie.
I like that. Yes, what's not better than wonderful dinners, right? I love it. And I know already you love to cook too. Good. Some skills that I don't have. So I want to tell you, I want to ask you, I love your energy, and I know that we're so alike. What is this whole thing that we're doing for people nowadays in the sense of, let's go with your story first. How did your story transform you? What was happening that you knew that maybe you had to get and step out of your early life, or, well, what made you make those transformation coaching decisions?
Yeah, I was in corporate. I was a sales manager. I was developing people to be their best selves and make more money for themselves and for the company. So was quite successful, loved it, but I was burned out. I didn't realize what was happening, and I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing, trying to do everything for everybody and be superwoman and not let any of the balls drop. My body was talking to me, and I didn't understand at that time what my body was saying, but it was getting sicker. I had stress, fibromyalgia, adrenal fatigue, osteoarthritis, you name it. And I just kept pushing harder and harder as my body was falling apart. And eventually my body said, okay, you're not listening. I'm taking you down.
Yes, I remember it. I remember it because I have been through a year of burnout without really acknowledging it. We talk about that so much, and especially on this show. I think women, we just
Mm,
keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and recognize that we're not really in the right place for us, and it's not really the right as tribe, right, or not really the right environment. But we keep pushing through it. We're caretakers. We care about what we do for others, so we feel sometimes guilty to leave them, or, kind of like, why is it all about me? I should be here because I'm doing the right thing. But it is the
mhm,
right thing. And I remember the symptoms as well, just not even being able to sleep, or even these
oh,
burnout symptoms, even if you come home crying, right, after work,
mm,
and just be so tired all the time, not really wanting to get up. And now that is something that you help people with, definitely in a lot of ways, right? With stress and burnout. What do you see with your clients? Give me some examples of the stories of your clients that are experiencing that as well.
Well,
Is it
they're
common?
women like you and me,
Yeah.
women who are strong and powerful and capable. And because of that, they take on so much responsibility.
Mhm.
And yes, fatigue, sleepless nights, weight gain, feeling loss of joy in life. And we don't realize I'm trying so hard to reach those women before they break,
Mhm.
because there's no reason for us to have a full down breakdown in order to have a breakthrough.
Yes.
And and that's what I'm focusing on right now, is trying to reach people before we have to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the numbers are stunning, right? There's more than
Yeah.
75% of people really experiencing burnouts, employees facing this all the time. You said that, I found this actually, which was really enlightening in one of your blogs, that really a study in 2021 already said that 76% of employees are experiencing burnouts, 77 of professionals, percentage of professionals having that experience, right? And repeatedly sometimes. What was the
Mhm.
moment that you said, now I know what it is and I'm stepping out? I want to do something else.
Well, when I had my breakdown, it was a full-on breakdown. It was mental, physical, everything. And I realized that the medical system wasn't able to help me. They were giving me pills and platitudes. The psychiatrist who was there to help my mental depression and my mental health issues, he told me that his role in my healthcare was just pills. And I thought, okay, yeah,
Oh, wow. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah, that was one of the worst moments of my life,
Mm,
was being with him, and he put me in a spiral that was so deep and dark.
yeah.
And when I told him, he said, I'm not here to help you heal. I'm only here to make sure that your brain chemistry is okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is so terrible. Yeah.
Yeah,
Talk
and
about
so I
opioid
thought,
crisis, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, it's a good thing, Kathy, that you've been studying everything from human development and psychology and quantum physics and everything, just because I'm so curious how the brain works, how the body works. I'm one of those curious people. I'm a Gemini, and I want to know everything.
Yeah.
And so when that psychiatrist put me in such a dark place, I said, okay, you've got to do this yourself. You've got to heal yourself. But when I took a look at who I was and realized that that person was shattered, and she was shattered for a reason, and I didn't want her back. And I thought, well, who do I want to be?
Yeah.
Who am I?
Yeah.
And that was a whole journey of learning to listen to my body and my soul, and really get to what lights me up, where I belong in this world. And when I found that, it was impossible to go back to corporate.
Absolutely. Oh, yes, absolutely. It is. And it is so amazing now because we are only surrounding ourselves with very powerful women, right? To empower each other. That's what I always say. I like that so much. We just talked about that, reaching out, meeting so many people. And so many of the women that we meet are all in that same position now, in kind of like a second, I call it my second life, right? My old one and my new one, where I just said, okay, goodbye with the dependency and goodbye with the, waiting for everything to happen to you, right? We're just now setting it in action. If you're talking about that empowerment, give me a couple of other ideas of what that empowerment looks to you right now, how that looks like for you right now. Just feeling so strong in your shoes, courage,
Well,
strength.
let me start by what it's not.
Yeah.
My mother unfortunately suffered with the same mental health and depression, and it's gone on from generations in my family. And she died an early death. And right before she died, she said something to me that has forever changed who I am. And she said, Kathy, you don't understand. I could have been somebody. Now, she was successful in the corporate world. She had amazing friends and social life, and she traveled the world, and she died with gifts inside of her that left her leaving this world with such regret. And I thought, even when on the outside it looked like she had everything all together and that she was amazing,
Yeah.
and I thought, that is not how to live a life.
Yeah.
And that was the start of me trying to figure out who I really was so that I would never die with those regrets.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, and I'm so sorry, but I can understand that. My mom died early and at an earlier or younger age, right? That were supposed to happen. And I think they were just kind of like seeking, but not really in a place yet where they had maybe enough information or even enough
Mhm.
resources or enough support system, even if we have now, right? To make those changes as well. Because I just had a great conversation with Pamela Sylvan the other day on her podcast about that too. It's not my mama's midlife anymore, right? It's just different now, the things that we have and we can do and the things that are accepted. It's also different. I think that she was in that generation where you just did it. And if you did too much for yourself, it was, really, it was regarded just kind of egotistical, I guess, right? And you
Mhm.
shouldn't be putting all that attention on yourself, right? And do things only for you. That was not really accepted. And luckily now it is. So that's why we can make those changes. And it becomes more and more, normal to take care of your mental health, right? That's very important.
Absolutely. Thank God we have removing the stigma
Yes.
that for so many years, I talk about it in my book, Unlearn the Crap, that it was about the rules of society and how we were supposed to show up, and we were in conformity. And we did not have a chance to really understand who we were. And we got lost.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the title of your book so much. I need to say that again. It's available on Amazon. It's everybody's watching. It's available on Amazon. Unlearn the Crap. And that is just a great title. So the things that we were told are
Yeah,
really not true. That's really
no,
what you're talking about. Yeah.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
for me, part of my journey was I was coming through when we were in the middle of women's rights. Women had just been able to get a loan and a credit card in their own name without a husband or a father signing for them in the 70s.
Yeah.
In the 70s, it
Yeah.
was crazy. And so now women were entering the workforce, but men and the workforce didn't know how to take us. And there was a lot of things that we had to put up and endure, and we had old stereotypes of what a woman was supposed to do. So we were soldering up as our masculine side, and we were going to change the world, and we were denying our femininity, which was our true essence and our true power. And I think so many of us have come to this place where it's like, no, 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 that was the wrong track. That was not where we're supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember that first we took it all the way wrong, right? Because I remember the pictures that I grew up with in the 70s and 80s, where we had a baby under one arm on the front of the magazine cover, right? A baby and then a really nice suit, right? All dressed up, very business CEO, and then a little CEO, a suitcase with all our paperwork, and then stepping with high heels into that airplane is not real. It's not real. But that's when I felt that we went into that. We came into that situation that we had to do it all. I mean, all my friends were going to study, all my friends had corporate jobs, everybody landed kind of like amazing. And then they had this amazing family that I talk so much about with the wide open spaces and the kids and the big houses and all that. And meanwhile, still nobody's happy, right?
Yeah,
Nobody's find that real thing inside, and that's what we're helping
yeah.
people with so much. So going back inside and trying to find out what we really feel. Is it that important? Are we needing all that stuff? Do we need all that stuff? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and what I'm finding about empowerment, that I know I got off track with your question, is that when we are actually aligning to who we are, instead of being a part of that system that was profits over people, it was keeping us locked as consumers and workers in a system that 95% of the world's population is living on 2% of the wealth. It's just so wrong. It's
yeah,
so wrong. Where if we were living in a world the way we were before this all happened, we were living in communities, we were cooperating, we were integrated, we were taking care of each other. Nobody was needing to be stomped on for someone else to be successful.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was We could all be successful in where we naturally are with our natural talents. And that's what I'm finding, is that when we're coming back to our heart and our soul, we're finding the gifts we're supposed to bring to the world.
I love that. I love that. No, thank you for saying that, because we're not on track. We're doing women stuff. We're doing all these women issues that we're all just really struggling with, which is exactly that, trying to fit in for a long time. I called that in my book, I called that release yourself from all these expectations,
Mm.
right? And trying to fit in and run with, and the rat race, and
And should.
fake it till you make it, and
Oh,
you should have that, all that. Yes. So now
yeah,
we're
you can sleep
coming.
when you die.
Yeah. 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 Now we come to a much better place, luckily. And we help people to do so, because there's still a lot of people stuck in that kind of image, right, of the perfect, which is there is no perfect. So I
No.
know you help people also with in a somatic way, right, with their body issues, getting that courage, getting that self-esteem. How would you describe that you are? I know that you're doing energy work just like I do. It's a different sort of energy work. So yeah, tell me a little bit about that, the body energy work that you do.
Well, because I was learning about the biology, the chemicals, the hormones in our body, I had fibromyalgia, which I knew was stress related. I didn't know, it took me a long time to figure that out. So when I realized that stress hormones were being trapped in our body and that causes inflammation, it was really real to me, especially after hearing Albert Einstein's quote that the future of medicine is going to be in energy. And I thought, okay, well, if everything is energy and we are producing hormones and chemicals and our immune system is covering it up with inflammation,
Yeah.
then I need to get to the energy as well as the physical.
Yeah.
And so I found Dr. Bradley. He is the founder of the Emotion Code and the Body Code.
Mm,
And so while I was doing my emotional healing and my intellectual healing, I was also doing energy healing to release that so that my body wasn't filled with all of this trapped cortisol and hormones that I just had been suppressing as I was soldiering on.
yeah, it's so interesting that you say that. I work so much with people on the mind, body, spirit part. in a sense of knowing that my approach was a little different, but it's the same, right? I did a lot of Tai Chi and Qigong with people and breathing techniques to get that energy flow through the body and to remove those obstructions that we're holding on to, just like you said, the tremendous suppressive hormones and, things that and especially then in midlife, we're thinking that we're running into a wall and we don't know what to do with it, but we just have to pay attention to the fact that anything that's going on here is also going to manifest in our body. So I'm so proud of you that you're doing both things with your clients and that you're really embracing both things. And it's just not, it's the whole system, how our body works, how our mind works, how our thinking works. We're holding back and we get that stiffness all over, right? It just can't go anywhere. And so definitely, for instance, with fibromyalgia, it's very interesting that you mentioned that and that can be helped by doing that body work. So you call that, what do you call that again? Tell me one more time.
The emotion code and the body code.
The body
So
code and
what it is you go into your unconscious, which it runs 95% of our lives, and unconscious can lead you with binary yes no answers, and it will lead you to where the pain is and what the pain is. It is amazing how accurate it is, how we've been able to uncover things from people that they said you should never have known this. And we'd be able to pinpoint the year, the time, and what it was. And they're blown away that I'm able to find this. But I said, it's not me.
yeah.
I'm just the guide. It's your unconscious doing the work. It just has now a voice
Wow.
to show you where your pain is and what's going on. Because your
Yes.
unconscious is trying to talk to us.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And it's holding on to that, and it's more and more and more we need to release. It's so amazing, Kathy. I love that. I love that. Absolutely. So it's great work, and I love it that you do it with your clients.
Yeah.
What are your age? What is the age group that you work with? What are your clients? Are they like me? Is that more as we talk about midlife and people that are running into that wall? Yeah.
Yeah, and what I love about midlife, where people are calling it a crisis or whatever, when we use universal laws, we bring in things like the law of polarity. That wall is telling you you're going the wrong way, turn around.
Yeah.
That's what that wall is.
Yeah.
And we start to use the universal laws to be able to really uncover what your true essence is. That being said, I'm also trying to reach parents, because if parents are able to heal their own wounds, they're not transferring the wounds onto their children.
Uh,
And if we can end that cycle,
uh,
because those unhealed wounds that we have that we're traveling on, they're in our DNA.
yeah.
And when we change our thoughts and our healing and we go through this process, we change the DNA.
Yeah.
And we can end this cycle by
Yeah.
trying to reach as many of those people in all of those generations and
I love
helping parents to understand that if a child is behaving in a certain way, that they're trying to speak the only language they know.
Yeah, yeah, yes, and to pay attention to that in a different way than we are conditioned, right?
Yeah.
It's
And when you
completely
understand how the body is speaking to you, when
yeah,
you understand what those hormones mean and what the central nervous system is doing and how it can affect us and take control of our lives in triggers, when it should just be information, but instead we feel derailed by it. We feel attacked by our past or triggers or whatever, when it's just saying, excuse me, I'm trying to get your attention.
yes, that's, and also a huge, just a sign that, indeed what we were doing was not really correctly, but that actually the other side is always more exciting and I mean, it might be challenging, but that is the exciting challenge, right? That's always what I call the exciting anxiety. We have so many times we go to the negative thinking about that, right? I can't do this, I can't do that. Our clients are full of limiting beliefs. Women do that a lot, right? I just don't have it in me. And if we just kind of say that this is just for a reason, it's just your body talking to you, it is just very natural. And now what's behind that or go around it is way more exciting. Then people can start that second life, as I call it sometimes, right? That really easygoing life where we go like, okay, I'm listening, I recognize things, I know who I am, I know what my skill set and tools are, I know my purpose. Absolutely.
Mhm.
And that is so amazing. How would you describe if you're telling people to find their why or their purpose? What has it been for you that you knew? Well, I knew your turning point there, but it is now just helping people and being with people, making them see that.
Once I had such a huge epiphany and life change, it became so apparent after years of working within mental health communities and working to help suicide people and women in crisis. We just needed to learn that all of this disempowering beliefs were not ours. They were either put upon us by a society or they were created in our brains that were a program that was wired usually by incorrect perspective. And so now when we can remove all of those things that aren't us, the light starts to come out and shine,
Yeah,
and each person starts to blossom.
yeah,
And we don't have to dig up bones, and we don't have to be in talk therapy forever, because there was an experiment I saw someone do, and I use this as an analogy all the time. If you've got sand and dirt in a glass of water and you're trying to pick it all out sand by sand, it'll take you forever and you'll never get it done. What you have to do is just fill with clean water and the sand will leave. So if we can just fill our lives with what we need today, what works today, what empowers us today, anything that is disempowering just flows away.
just will dissipate. Yeah, I love that example. Thank you. Yes, I love that. So instead of digging and digging and digging and keep going and getting our fingers dirty, just kind of overflow with
Yeah,
new.
because otherwise we're focusing in what we don't want.
Yeah.
And we know that the law of energy says what you focus on is what you're going to bring about. So
Yeah.
if you're focusing on all the pain and the trauma and the things we've had to endure,
Yeah.
yeah, we've had to endure an awful lot.
Yeah.
But let's leave that crap in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. That is a great example. That's a great example. I can really feel that. And it's so true. It is such a transformation that you come to, and I can see the light in you. So that's our purpose. That's why we want to share that, because we get so excited about that. Is there another life lesson that you have for our listeners where you say, well, I really want to give everybody another example or another life lesson of the things that you really embrace?
Well, I gave you my one life lesson from my mother, which was when she said that I could have been somebody, and knowing that you had to get those dreams and the authenticity of who you are out and live full on. So that's one of them. The other one was from my mother as well. It was during a time of confusion of roles because my father was sick and my mother had already passed away. And so I kind of called out to her, Mom, what do I do? Like, am I the dutiful daughter? Am I the strong, empowered woman? Who am I? How do I navigate this? And I heard her voice clearly in my head saying, Kathy, you know damn well what to do, do it. And that to me is, yes, trust yourself.
Yeah.
You don't need to go outside of ourselves. We have everything we need already. We just have to access it and trust.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. I love that because it really reminds me of what I tell people a lot. Sometimes we can overthink it and we stay in our minds and we'll just overthink it again. And it just kind of becomes a whole big mountain while it was a very small hurdle in the first place. Instead of just sometimes just taking action. right? I worked with people in the past a lot as well that were just really trying to overcome a pretty big traumatic experiences in their life as well. So, and then on top of that, some form of substance addiction, right? Or just really coming over that too, over that hurdle. And there was so much of that sticking to that negative thinking, sticking to that not having that self-esteem and that courage, right? To just kind of powerful take it on. And I would actually always say, take it, just do it. Take it on.
Mhm.
Just do it. Just do it today. Don't wait and don't overthink. And we just definitely have a lot of we do that a lot. We just kind of stick in our mind a lot and kind of think, is this the right way to do? Another thing that I definitely think that women do a lot, um, is that we are just so afraid of that judgment if we're making it somewhat different, right? What if other people are gonna say? What are other girls, women around us are gonna say if we're doing this entirely different? And when it comes to that, I also think that we're severely conditioned by, oh my, right? We want to do it everything rather perfect, as I always call it, but also we're afraid of that judgment if we tackle things differently. Or if
Yeah.
all the time, if we're all the time so yay, so happy, right? What are people gonna say? Yeah.
Well, yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right, because we were raised in a society and a school system that we had to memorize instead of learn who we were. We were judged by right and wrong, or even an essay. It was a judgment that came upon us from somebody else. And so when our brains are trained, you got to be right, you can't be wrong. Wrong means you made a mistake and there's something wrong with you. And there's all this judgment and pain that goes along with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
When we,
absolutely.
yeah. And so when we can realize that that is outside judgment. The other thing, and I'm noticing it's changing so beautifully right now, is you're talking about being judged on whether we're succeeding or not. I truly believe that the media pitted women against each other
Yeah.
by making us, are you going to win the man? Are you going to do this? And, there was this whole thing about women competing, and we became really not nice to each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm seeing this huge change where women are saying no more. We're rising up and we're bonding together, and we're supporting each other and realizing that the power of sisterhood, of our energy, you being united. I think that's why it was purposely broken up, because women banded together is pretty powerful.
Pretty strong, pretty crazy. I just had that conversation this week with somebody else too. Yes, we're standing up, we're rising. Yes, I love that so much. And it's so true. And I can feel that shift as well.
Yeah.
Because it was, oh, wow, I just had that conversation this week. I'm so glad you brought that up. Because we were always just so catty, catty, catty. I don't like that in the first place. I do not like to gossip too much and all that stuff. But and there are definitely generations following us, even worse, right? But then there was the social media telling them how to behave and telling them what to do. And we got our TikTok idols and everybody has to be like that, which is of course ridiculous because we all have a different drive and we all are so unique. We should drive and thrive with that. Right. So that is
Mm.
definitely so true. Oh, and it brings me to the drive, the drawer drive, your program. Tell me about that. You have an amazing program coming up. Want to hear about
Oh,
that?
thank you. Thank you so much. As I was working with my clients and I was trying to simplify things for them, I kept coming up with this analogy that said we would never be thrown out into the world to drive a car that we'd never driven before. We didn't have a driver's license and we didn't know what we were doing. But yet we're thrown out into our lives, into a body that we don't understand the mechanics of. We don't know the language of it. And we're trying to navigate in a world of universal laws that nobody's told us about. So here we have this intuition that is our GPS and our guidance system, and we've been disconnected from it because any one of those feminine qualities was negated in that patriarchal society, that it was only the strong and the will and the power and the force that had any value.
Mm.
that intuition, cooperation, imagination, any of those things were not valued. And so I wanted to bring this in, that this is the truth. So my Drive Your Destiny program is in 3 sections. And one of them is the driver's license, and that is the mechanics of your body. What biologically is happening, how to understand your central nervous system, how to know what the gut is saying, how to know that once you have full coherence between every one of your bodies, and you've got 3 different brains in us, there are 3 different central intelligence. So when we align all that up and we become coherent, we're powerful. And then if you can connect to your true identity of who you truly are and what your dreams are and where you belong and who you authentically are, now you have a GPS to guide you.
Yeah.
And if you know the universal rules and the universal laws, instead of finding obstacles, you start to understand those obstacles are information. They're guiding you. You're not being punished, you're not being stopped. So when you understand the law of rhythm, the law of gestation, that the timing, understanding the law of correspondence and compensation,
Yeah.
when you understand how all of this works, you understand where you are in the process.
Mm.
And now it's like driving the roads and knowing what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, I love the analogy again, especially with the whole GPS system and I want my driver's license. Yes, again, yes, it becomes easier. We just start
Yeah,
recognizing. It's like you said, and earlier we talked about hitting the wall, right? And feeling stuck, all that, and being so negative about it. It's not negativity. It's such something that you can't take that lane. You know, there's a roadblock, can't do it. So we have to go around it. And it's just natural, it's organic, and it's teaching you something, and it's going towards a better way, finding a
yeah.
better way at all time. Yeah.
Well, the law of polarity says that there has to be the opposite of everything.
True.
So if you're experiencing something you don't want or you don't like, the opposite is on the other side.
Yeah.
Look on the other side. If you're dealing with pain and hate and all of this, love and joy and everything is on the other side. You just have to turn your perspective around.
The yin and
And
yang. Yeah. Yeah.
the law of rhythm and gestation, everything is in cycles and everything is in motion and movement. And sometimes we feel we failed when you don't realize that you're just part of the rhythm. You're in fall or you're in winter and you're thinking summer's not coming, but it is.
Yeah.
And so when you understand the creative process, and we are here to create, we are creators. We live in an energetic world that is based on solely creation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you understand how it works. You
Yeah.
can't fail.
And then it becomes so simple and easy and
Yeah.
very exciting. Yes, yes, absolutely. And when we understand that, and that is so important for us to tell other women that, I love again that we have that flow, is also, I think you're saying that once we start accepting that as well, right? So we just don't have to flourish 100% every day, every moment of the hour. So it's just something that sometimes we have to go with. It's okay to be a little bit down one day, or it might be seasonal, that we're just a little bit less active or tired. We just have to accept it as is and then move with that, which makes it really easy because then it's okay. And we don't have false negative beliefs or guilt feelings or shame about anything flowing in anymore either. So it's a
Yeah.
wonderful thing. Yes, it's a wonderful thing. I love
Yeah. Well, we were told that stress was a badge of honor.
it. Yeah.
And if you were exhausted all the time, here's a pill to wake you up, or here's an energy drink, or, there were products to throw at us to deal with it when our body needs to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah,
It,
exactly. Yeah.
it's simple as that. Making sleep a bad thing,
Yeah.
that you're lazy if you are resting and taking care of yourself, is insanity.
Mm. I was guilty. I was guilty of that. Yes, absolutely. Run, 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 and stay up. And oh my, it's so amazing that you can work 48 hours a day, right? Yeah, that's
Well,
crazy. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the world we lived
Yeah.
in, and
Yeah.
that's what was rewarded.
Yeah.
Our exhaustion,
Yeah.
our was proof of our dedication,
Yeah.
of what we were able to accomplish, and
Yes,
it
I
was,
love that. Yes. Exhaustion was proof of our dedication. I love
yeah.
that. Yes, so true. So true. Amazing. Oh my, Kathy, where can we find you? I want the listener, the audience to know where to find you, website, and also where to find you for your course. So what do we do?
RiseUpCoaching.io is my website. My book can also be found at unlearnthecrap.com, which I hope everyone goes and gets, because I have priced it in a way that aligns with Energy. It's $22.22, regardless of what currency you're in.
Oh, I
And
love that.
yeah, and the Kindle version is $2.22. And that those symbol of those numbers means you're on the right track. You're on the right path.
Yes.
And so I wanted to share that. I do have a burnout risk assessment quiz that can be found on my website. I think you're going to have the link down there,
Oh,
so
yeah.
the people can see just how at risk they are. And of course, I'm on social media everywhere.
That's a great idea to have a test on your website and see how people are actually, if they're actually experiencing that burnout, that stress, and kind of do a test. So do a test on Kathy's website. I'm lost right now. Mention it one more time. I'm having a blank.
Right, riseupcoaching.io
RiseUpCoaching.io, RiseUpCoaching.io. Find
or
Kathy.
unlearnthecrap.com.
Learnthecrap.com. I love that. And we can say that. It's wonderful. I love it.
I'm working on the sequel right now, Unlearn the Crap, about stress and burnout.
Oh, good. Yes.
That's
I
what
love
I'm working on
it.
right now.
Good, good, good. I will certainly promote it. I love it. I love you. You're an amazing guest. Thank you so much for today. I'm so glad you were on the show.
Oh,
Alien Joy. So good to have you, Kathy. Awesome,
oh,
awesome, awesome.
thank
Thank
you
you so
so much for this opportunity. I felt so aligned with you and your vision the minute I saw and we had our first conversation. So I knew this was going to be an amazing conversation. And thank you so much for having that banter with me so that we could bounce ideas off of each other.
It's always fun to chat. I just want it to be organic and
Mhm.
authentic. And yeah, we're just soul sisters when it comes to that. We feel it. And we're helping people in that regards. Go find Kathy Baldwin on social media and on her website. Thank you for watching today. I am super grateful. Namaste. Make it an amazing day. And then I'll see you next week on an episode of Allianz Joy. Thank you so much.